and welcome back to English Literature a Click Away. In this video, we are going to discuss the subject-verb concord. It's one of those important topics based on which you can definitely expect one or two questions in the grammar section in your board papers. But before that, make sure you have subscribed to the channel English Literature a Click Away so as to not miss out on any uploaded video. So let's begin with subject-verb concord. So what exactly is subject-verb concord? So we know what's a subject in a sentence, a noun that does the work or around which the work revolves. Verb is the work done or the doing words. Now concord means going along or agreement. Basically, the verb depends on the subject. As we can see in the picture here, an adult guardian who's guiding the little one. So if we assume the adult as the subject, the verb as the little one, then the verb follows the subject or follows the form of subject and takes its own form. So what does the word concord mean? Concord means going along or being in agreement with. So subject-verb concord would mean that subject and verb go together, or the subject guides the verb to take its form. So what is subject-verb agreement or subject-verb concord? So verb always agrees with the subject noun in a sentence. So in a sentence there may be many nouns, but the subject noun, the subject that does the work or around which the action revolves, that decides the form of the verb. So for example, I always go to work early. I is the subject noun. Since it is I, first person singular, the root form of verb is taken, go. So I always go to work early. In case of third person, she always goes. So we know that with third person, the verb is root form plus s or es, to work early. Throughout the discussion, we'll see for convenience the verb in blue color and the subject noun in yellow or orange. So the verb takes form as per the subject noun. Now there may be many nouns, as I said. For example, in this sentence, the students like their teacher very much. Now it is the students that are liking, that are doing the job of liking. Hence, students are the subject nouns. So the students like, since students are plural, it takes the root form, the verb takes the root form. Students like their teacher very much. Now teacher is also a noun here, but it is the object upon which the action is being done. So the students like their teacher very much. So what we draw from this is that in a sentence, to identify what verb would go along in the sentence, you need to identify the subject noun. So if you identify the subject noun and its form, its number, it would be easier for you to fill up the sentence with the appropriate verb. So since we are learning grammar, so there are certain rules to be followed in subject-verb concord. First of all, starting with the simplest one, agreement in number. That is the number of noun, whether it is singular or plural, how that decides the verb form. So in case of plural subject nouns, and also in addition to that, in case of first person I, the root form of verb is taken. So the sentence carries the root form of verb. In all other singular cases, it is root form plus s or es is added. So verb agrees with the number of subject noun. So one needs to keep in mind this basic rule, which will be followed throughout all the rules that are based on this basic rule. Now nouns, subject noun can exist in different forms in a sentence. So we will divide them as single and compound subject nouns. So in case of single subject nouns, which may appear in different forms, they can be collective nouns. Now collective nouns are always taken as singular, we know that. So the verb that would go with collective nouns is, I is, or any root form of the verb, plus s or es is added. So what are these collective nouns? So the examples are crowd, herd, audience. So they always take up the root form of the verb plus s or es is added because they are considered as singular. So the crowd had gathered, not have. The herd was moving towards the mountain. The audience is appreciating the act. Now is and are forms of be. That is why I'm just giving you the examples of is and are. So these words, collective nouns, are taken as singular. Now there are certain nouns that never take the singular forms and which always occur in pairs or in more numbers. In these cases, the verb that is always taken is the root form of the verb. In case of subject nouns that do not take singular forms, the verb that always goes with them is the one that goes with plural nouns. So for example, scissors, jeans, glasses, police. So these words always occur in pairs or in more numbers. For example, I would not say my scissors is lost, I would say my scissors are lost. My new jeans are blue in color. Where are my glasses? The police are arriving. So these are always taken in plurals. In case we are mentioning the word pair of, because these certain words occur in pairs, in that case it becomes singular. For example, I bought a new pair of scissors. The new pair of jeans that I bought is blue in color. I bought a new pair of glasses. So there it becomes singular because we are mentioning it as a pair of. Next one is subject nouns which do not take up plural form, which always occur in singular, although there may be s added to the nouns, which confuses because they look like plural but they are not. For example, news, mathematics, measles. So these words, they do look like they are plurals but they are actually singular. So the words would be used as there is a good news. Mathematics is an interesting subject. Measles is a deadly disease. So these words, although they have an s at the end, that does not mean they are plural. These are always singular. Hence the verb form would be the verb taken with singular. Now certain subject nouns which may be singular or plural and they remain the same, they do not change their forms. And these might also confuse us. In these cases, we need to choose the verb form depending on the context. For example, species. A new species has been found. There are a number of species of spiders around the world. Similarly, sheep, fish, politics. So all these words, they do not change their forms, but in case we want to mention the plurals, there the verb form decides whether the number is plural or singular. So these words do not change their forms, so we need to decide the verb form depending on the context. Now it is not necessary that there would always be names or things as subject nouns. There can be pronouns as well. So pronouns like I, she, he are simple ones. What about the pronouns which are indefinite? For example, anyone, everyone, someone, no one, each, neither, either, nobody, everybody. So these are indefinite pronouns. We do not know whom we are talking about. They depict one single person or one single thing. For example, is anyone available tomorrow? So in sentences where such kind of pronouns are used, the verb form follows the singular rule. Let's look at some examples here. So everyone has finished his or her homework. So we are talking about each person in that group. Somebody has left his or her bag. We would not say somebody have, because we are talking about one single person who has left his bag. Each of the students has done his or her homework. So we are talking about every single student. So do not get confused with this plural number of students. We are talking about each single person, each single student of that group. Hence, there will be has. Neither is available. Now, neither and either, when they occur by themselves without neither being accompanied with nor or either being accompanied with or, they are considered singular. Neither is available or either one can be bought. So, they are considered as singular. Now, one pronoun which can be confusing is none, because none can either be plural or singular and it depends upon the context again. Now, none of the engines are working. So maybe we expect many of the engines to work, but none of them are working. And when we say none of you is responsible for this, so not a single one of you is responsible for this. That is what is meant here. So when you get fill-ups for verbs like this, you need to consider, you need to read the sentence and draw the meaning. Now in cases where there are more than one subject nouns and they occur with conjunctions. Now what are conjunctions? Conjunctions are words that connect sentences or connect the nouns. So in case of conjunctions connecting subject nouns, in case of or, neither and nor and either or. Now neither nor when existing together, because singularly neither and singularly either are always singular. But here we are talking about when there are two or more subjects which are connected with neither and nor or either and or. So in such cases, the verb form agrees with the subject that is closest to it. It is the verb. So whichever subject is closest to the verb form follows the number of that subject. Now let's see some examples. The teacher or the students are waiting. So here we see that there are two subject nouns here. One is teacher and the other one is students. Both are doing the action of waiting. In case both are singular, then there is no doubt. If it was the teacher or the student singular, then it would be singular, is waiting. But here it becomes a compound noun here where the teacher is singular and the students are plural. Now what do we do there? So we follow the subject noun that is closest to the verb form. Now verb form is going to be before waiting, that is after students. So since students are plural, hence we use are there. Teacher or the students are waiting. Similarly, in case of either and or, either my father is singular here, or my sisters are plural, are closer to the verb form, it becomes plural here. Sisters are attending the meeting. Neither the students nor the teacher is present. Now in this case, students are plural, but teacher is singular and teacher is closer to the verb form. Hence, neither the students nor the teacher is present. This is a simple one when two subject nouns are doing the job together and they are connected with the conjunction and, like Rita and Samuel or me and my brother. So in that case, it becomes a compound subject noun. So both of them are doing the work together. So the verb form always is plural there. Now let's see an example. Sharon and her brothers go to school. Now since we have the plural compound subject noun, it becomes go to school every day. Now there is an exception here. In case there is and, the conjunction and the subjects make one unit. For example, bacon and eggs is my favorite. Now why have we used the singular verb form here is? We don't say bacon and eggs are my favorite, because bacon and eggs are taken together. Similarly, you can say rice and curry. So we are talking about the breakfast menu, bacon and eggs, which is taken together. Hence it is singular and it takes the verb form is. Now another condition, we know that and connects two subject nouns and makes it compound subject noun. Hence we use plural. But in case these conjunctions are used which can be confusing and look like and, like together with, along with, accompanied by, as well as, these do not make the subject nouns compound. This still means that the first subject is doing the job and the other one is going along with that. So the verb form is as per the first subject. Let's look at some examples. My mother along with her sisters is going to the market. Now you see the conjunction here, along with. It is still my mother who is going to the market. It is just that my sisters are going along with her. Hence the verb form is taken here. So my mother along with her sisters is going to the market. Another one, the workers accompanied by their leader are on a strike. Now again the workers are plural. The verb form are is taken because workers, the first subject noun which is actually doing the action, is plural. So the workers accompanied by their leader. Leader is singular, but since mainly the workers are on strike and leader is accompanying them, hence we take the plural verb form. Now let's look at another set of compound subject nouns where they are quantified. The subject nouns are quantified, say half of them, 2/5 of them, a percentage of that, or some mathematical measurements, and how they can change the verb form. So in case the subject noun is quantified with fractional expressions such as half of, a part of, a percentage of, say for example half of the population, a part of the population, a percentage of water, a majority of the people, all of the money or some of the money. In such cases, the verb form agrees with the number of the subject that we are talking about. So the fraction does not actually matter. The verb goes with the number of the subject noun that we are talking about, whether it is countable or uncountable. So let's look at some examples for better clarification. So 2/5 of the population is affected. Now the fraction says 2/5. The main subject noun here is population. Hence we use the verb form is here, because population is a collective noun and that takes a singular verb form. So 2/5 of the population is affected. Some of the students are absent. Now here, since students are plural, we say are absent because there may be more than one. So some here may be more than one student. 30% of the student body is in favor. Now in this case, we are talking about a percentage of the student body. Now student body is singular. Students are plural, but the student body is one, hence it is singular. So 30% of the student body is in favor. Now water is uncountable, hence uncountable nouns are always taken as singular. So it is all of the water is wasted. We cannot say all are wasted, hence it becomes is wasted. Similarly, in case of money, some of the money is saved. So that was about the fractional or a part of the subject noun. Now what happens if we use mathematical measurements or if there are numbers used as the subject noun? So mathematical measurements in numbers and sum and product of expressions, they are always singular. For example, if we say 10 kilometers is a long distance. Now do not get confused with the number here, although 10 seems plural, but we are talking about the distance here. So 10 kilometers is a long distance. Again, 100 rupees is a small amount. 100 seems plural, rupees seems plural, but we are talking about the amount here. So 100 rupees is a small amount. Now let's look at product of 6 times 2 is 12. So 6 times 2, we do not say are 12, it is 12. Now when we read the tables, multiplication tables, we say 2 2s are. There we are talking about the numbers. 2 2s are. We are not saying 2 times 2. So there we use are. 2 2s are 4. But when we write it in this form, 6 times 2 is 12. Now in case of sentences or subject nouns that give away positive or negative action, depending on that, the verb form goes with the positive subject or the subject that is actually doing the action as opposed to the other one that is not doing the action. So let's see in this sentence, it is the president and not the board members that makes the decision. So there are two subject nouns here. One is the president and the other one is the board members. So who's taking the decision? It is the president. So because the president is taking the action, the verb form follows the president. So hence it is singular. It is the president, not the board members, that makes the decision, not make the decision. Similarly, it is not his ideology but his words that have caused the confusion. Now, ideology and words, these are the two subject nouns that may have caused confusion. But which one has caused confusion? Those are the words. So hence, it is not his ideology. It is not the ideology that has caused confusion, but his words. So that is why, since words are plural, we take have, plural verb form is used here. So it is not his ideology, but his words that have caused the confusion. So that is all about the subject-verb concord or subject-verb agreement. Now the question that may be asked in board exams may not directly be asked as subject-verb concord. So in the grammar section there are 12 questions and you need to answer any 10 of them. A sentence or a write-up would be given and you may be asked to fill up the appropriate verb form to complete the sentence. So you have to read the sentence, look at the number and the context. What meaning can you draw from that sentence and then fill up the verb form, following the rules that we have just discussed. So stay tuned and do not forget to subscribe to English Literature a click away. Happy learning!